Hey guys, Ant-Man here. In this video, I'm going to go over my trade from this morning on CLVS and explain why it was almost a trade that almost was not. So let me start by going over the rangers and gappers for this morning. I have my filters set to show me the largest down gappers. And this morning, as you can see, MDR led the way at 26.7% gap down, which in hindsight, which is 2020, of course, we can see that MDR would have been a very nice play this morning on a $10 stock to get 2.5 points out of it. That's a really nice play. Next on the list here was OMI, and wow, OMI really tanked today. To get another 2.5 points on an $11 stock, another amazing setup. Triple D also that ran right into the 200 SMA and failed, and that also on a $14 stock gave you 2 points. And then we have CLVS, which was the name I did play this morning. Not as big of a move, but still very respectable. On a $12 stock, it did give 2.5 points. So I'm going to go into the trade now and explain how, unfortunately, I was not able to capitalize on the full 2.5 point move of this trade. Mostly emotions that I need to work on, and some frustrations, but which you will all see as I point them out when I go over the trade. So let's go to the, let's stay here on the daily chart for a moment. As you can see, CLVS appears to be gapping down to all-time lows, but when I dial it back to the weekly time frame, you can see that right around that $12 mark, $13 mark, was pretty damn near all-time lows. The IPO price looks like it was around $12.29 for the low, and I believe that's what I had marked out. Yeah, I had $14 marked out, $13.16 and $12.68 as key levels from the daily and weekly charts. So with that said, let's go to the intraday and find out why this trade was the trade that almost wasn't. Okay, here we are. As you can see, the $14 level also lined up with kind of with pre-market highs. Pre-market highs was actually around $14.10, $14.12 area, but it was pretty close, and it was a nice even round hole number. So when this thing opened up, it just sold and sold hard. There was no setup. There was no way to get into this trade here. So I just let this thing go crazy, do what it was going to do. And it eventually did find support right here at this 1268 area. It was starting to come back up, and I was watching very carefully what it was going to do at and around the VWAP and at this $14 level. When I saw it putting in this candle and getting stuff back down, and then the very next candle, the same stuff at that $14 level, this gave me the conviction I needed to take this trade. So I tried to go short 1,000 shares right around here, and this is where all the fun began. I'm going to drag in a screenshot of my order executions window, and as you can see, no fill after no fill after no fill, all the way down the line. And I know why this happened. This happened because the stock was down more than 10%, and whenever that happens, an SSR, which is a short sale restriction, is imposed, which means you can only get short on an uptick, which, in my personal opinion, is nonsense. If a guy or a gal wants to get short on a stock, he shouldn't have to jump through hoops and wait for the 7 rings of Jupiter to align with the moons of Mercury just to get short in a stock. And to me, it's pointless, it's ridiculous, and it needs to go. But that being said, there's nothing I can do about it at this point in time. All I can do is look back on it and complain. So that being said, I've tried several times here to get short 1,000 shares, all the way down the line here. No fill, no fill, no fill, as you can see. So by this last attempt, my My temper was flaring. I was ready to drive my fist through my desk. So I got up just to cool my head, take a deep breath, went and grabbed a coffee, came back, and at this time I saw the price was hovering right around this 1268 level. So I tried to go in half size, figuring I'm kind of chasing it at this point, but also keeping in mind that if it did break this level, it should have room down to at least the $12 level, if not the 11 something. So I went in with half size, 500 shares, and boom, like that, I got filled, no problem, 500 shares short at 1269. So now I'm in the trade, and I'm watching the price, and as this thing starts coming down and moving like this, when this washes down like this, on this candle here, I cover half at 1217, and then I'm just letting the other half ride. I want to see, I'm going to watch the price action, see what it does. When this hammer candle was put in, and one of my custom indicators I have for TC2000, called a swing high, swing low, put in the green dot, this was an indicator to me that the trend might be changing at this point. Now, I don't use these, indicators to base trades off of. What I use them is as guides, as little signs in the road saying, hey, you know what? This trend might be changing, or this might be happening. So just be alert, be prepared, and be aware that this may happen. And that's how I use these indicators. So when I saw this, I was on alert that this might be a trend change, coupled with the fact that I noticed it right here. This was basing right here. So you can see it was putting in a base, a kind of, if you want to call that a double bottom on the 1 minute, you can. It was kind of basing, then it put in a higher low here and a higher low here, and as it came into the 9 EMA, I decided to cover half my remaining shares at 1239 to lock in some more profit, and then I set a stop to break even at 1269, and lo and behold, the price action ran right into 1269 and stopped me out by literally a penny. You can see that right there. By 1 penny, it stopped me out, which was a shame because it bumped its head into this 1268 level and then gave another 80 some odd cents to the downside. So it actually would have ended up being a pretty nice trade after all the frustration that I went through earlier to try and get in the trade. But that said, I still think I came out with $170 on this trade. Nothing to write home about. Nothing. No, not a home run. Barely even a single. I call that one a bunt. This was a bunt, and somehow I outran the throw to first. $170 trade, but nevertheless, green is green, and in this market, under these choppy conditions, 170, I will take it and be happy. So that said, I think that covers everything on the trade. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. My handle is @TheTonyManji, and of course, all my fellow guys and gals in Trick Trades, you can always just hit me up in chat or in DM. Be happy to answer any questions you have. So that being said, I think that covers everything, and that'll do it for me. So you all have a great night.